Hello and welcome to Knife Delights. It's time for another Way Back Wednesday. That's a wonderful open tag started by Warthog, the man, the legend, the curator of cutlery himself, Warthog. Hey, Warthog, thank you so much for this great open tag. And I know he would like all channels to participate. I think his guideline for a Way Back Wednesday type video is knives made prior to like the year 2000, so 1999 and before. Now, the knife I'm about to show you was made after that. It was made recently. However, the design of this knife goes back several years. It goes back to World War II, as a matter of fact. And you're going to know it as the Kabar fighting knife. And this one in particular is a replica, a reissue, if you will, of the Kabar USN Mark I utility knife. Now this is pretty much the same knife as what the Marine Corps and the Army used. However, the blade is just a little bit shorter. So they've kind of come this way, kind of a commemorative way to remember this fantastic knife, this pattern. And as you can see on the sheath, it's the old style sheath. It does have USN on it. And this sheath, can't talk this morning, sorry. This sheath is very well made. Look at all the rivets they put in there just to reinforce it. Nice thick welt. So this has a very nice sheath that comes with it. We'll just put this in here. As you can see, whoops, it's a little tight, but this is what she looks like. If I can get it snapped, it's pretty tight. Haven't used this, haven't kept it in the, well, I can get it snapped. I'd have to break in the sheath a little bit. It's stiff because I have not been storing the knife in the sheath. But anyway, so yeah, we're all familiar, I think, with the Marine Corps. They kind of made it famous during World War II over in the Pacific Theater as the Marine Corps Kabar fighting knife. It was also issued out to the Army also. But the Navy wanted their own version, and like I said, the blade is just a little bit smaller to it. Now, this is a reproduction because, you know, it didn't come with a coated blade back then, and I think the blade shape's just a little bit different than the original. But this stacked leather is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And it does come with the round pommel on it. So we don't normally associate sailors being in like hand-to-hand combat. But if you remember back in World War II, in the Pacific Theater, we had the Seabees. They were doing all the island hopping. So as the Navy would put the Marines ashore and the Marines were able to establish a beachhead, the Seabees would be right along there with them. CB standing for Construction Battalion. So they'd be in there, construction, supporting the Marines with the facilities, establishing the beachheads. So, a CB would need some sort of a fighting knife with him also. But even above and beyond that, you had naval aviation units that might be shore-based on one of the islands, once they got, again, the beachhead established or control of the island. There would be supply depots, and there would be sailors on guard duty, and they would get into some of that too. So not only was it a utility knife and a fighting knife per se for the sailors, but it also made a very handy utility knife on board ship. And it was good for opening tins, good for cutting rope, and things like that. So that's why the Navy kind of wanted their own little version. Now again, this pattern kind of harkens back to World War II, and yes, they were called fighting knives. They were also called utility knives. There's all kinds of different names for them. Kabar, for whatever reason, became synonymous with that, fighting knife. However, during the war. There were many companies that produced these knives on government contract. PAL Company, Camillus made a lot of them. So it wasn't just Kabar. But this one is Kabar, Olean, New York. And again, on the pile side, USN Mark I. From what I read, by the time the Vietnam War came around, they no longer stamped them USN or USMC. They would just stamp them US. So it is still a popular knife. Just reading stories online from veterans that fought like in Vietnam, that maybe, like one guy wrote, he didn't carry one in Vietnam, but when he got back from there, he was at the local post exchange. He bought himself one, and it was his go-to hunting and utility knife. He just praised it because of the way they were built. So now we're familiar. This one here kind of does fall in to the way back Wednesday, because this one was made, I believe, back in the 70s. And this is the Kabar 1232 small hunting knife. Nice little finger grooves. And I've done a full review on this knife here. I got this one used. It was given to me. Somebody found it and they gave it to me. Didn't have a sheath, so I did order a new replacement sheath for it. So that's the small hunter. And then I recently did a video on this one, the little fin. And this one was sent to me by CB Tactical. And I kind of compared it to the 102, Buck 102. Not exactly a fair comparison, because this is a true bird and trout type knife. And the 102, you know, it's a lot bigger. It's almost more comparable to this 1232. But anyway, you can check out those videos if you'd like. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of a quick peek here at the USN Mark I Kabar knife. Didn't go real in-depth on it, but just wanted to give you a little peek here at it. Boy, you know, the way they swell that out there, it does fit in your hand very well. Just a nice knife. And of course, there's only a guard on one side, so if you're hunting and skinning, you don't have wide guards to get in your way while you're skinning. But, yep, a pretty nice replica, although not a true replica. They made a few changes to it, but still a very nice knife, and I was proud to get this. You know, just part of my naval heritage. So thank you, Warthog, once again for this wonderful opportunity to talk about some old knives, and in this case, more of an old company that everybody's familiar with. I'll be putting a link to my playlist on fixed blade knives down in the lower right-hand corner. In the center, that big round Knife Delights there. You can punch that to subscribe if you like. And down in the right-hand corner, or left-hand corner, is the next video that YouTube recommends that you watch. So until next time, have a very delightful day.